Hello YouTubers and fellow hams. Today we are going to replace the battery in my Radio Shack HTX 202. My good old reliable brick. So what's going on with it? Well, when I turn it on, and hopefully the air conditioner noise I was able to eliminate because it's hot. I gotta run the AC. It beeps and it says ER1 or ER2 error. I can reset it by holding down D, and I think it's this button here. While I turn it on, let's see. I gotta do it tricky. Yeah, there we go. That reset it. It comes up on 146 megahertz. And if I turn it off and I turn it back on, oh nope, error 1. Yeah, it will not retain its settings. So I bought this brand new, which means it's quite old. Gosh, 30 years maybe? I will figure out how long ago I bought this. And somewhere up here on the screen, I will put the age of this unit. And the battery only just died sometime in the last year. So that's impressive. Oh yeah, you might be wondering what that's all about. I clip it up on the edge of my desk. I use it as a base unit because I'm off-grid several months of the year, and this little guy draws almost no power at all when it's in receive. Okay, to open it up, I've got 4 screws, 5, one in the middle, 5 screws on the back of the case, and 4 screws here. I got to take this battery clip off because this holds the 2 halves of the case together as well. So we'll take all these screws out, and then we'll open her up. Now the 5 screws on the back. The 4s out in the corner are these long ones. I think the one in the middle is short. See it there, and it's threaded. The others are machine screws. Okay, back plate comes off. Now the guts, the battery connector down here sticks out through it, so you got to kind of lean it up and then slide it forward to get that out. But you got to be careful because there's a ribbon cable. See that ribbon cable? There. Be careful of that ribbon cable. That goes up here to the front and all the connectors and display. And there is our battery right there. It's got a red wire that goes back to the PC board, and it has a tab that is soldered right here. There you go. So now you can see that. This tab is soldered at this end. Red wire goes back here to the PC board, up underneath that metal shield. Okay, that is a CR 2032 3-volt lithium battery. I don't know if you can find one with the tab that's sticking off the side of it, but I'll tell you what you can find. They're readily available. This is listed as a backup battery for a PlayStation 2 or 3. And there's similar ones that are listed out there for PCs and all that. And it has already sealed up inside of a nice shrink wrap coating. It's got double-sided tape on one side already. Black and a red wire already attached. I can just untwist that. There we go. So what I can do is I can cut this black wire and strip it and I'll be able to solder it right there to that tab, and I can cut this red wire and cut the red wire from the existing battery here, and I'll be able to join those two, put some heat shrink tubing over them to seal them up, and stick this back in, and that'll replace my battery. So now I got to get my soldering iron out and get to work. Okay, I'm getting ready to remove the old battery and solder in the new battery, which I've already prepared the wires on. The tab from this battery is soldered to this shield, and that is right next to, you can see the ribbon cable here from the push to talk button, which also, by the way, the push to talk button overlays two of the screws on this shield. So somebody's bound to say, why don't you just take the shield out? I can't figure out how the push to talk button, I think it's screwed in, but then I'd have another ribbon cable dangling around, and I don't want to do that much extra disassembly and risk damaging this ribbon cable as well. So what I'm going to do is bring my soldering iron in from this angle here, so it's farthest away from this ribbon cable. Another thing I wanted to talk about, by the way, there's a long-standing rumor that this radio was made for Radio Shack by ICOM. No. Right here. Maxon. M-A-X-O-N. Maxon. That's who made this radio for Tandy. And I have a history page that I have found on Maxon that I'll put up in the link, put a link in the description if you want to go read about it. They were a South Korean company that OEM'd radios for all kinds of companies. In fact, if we look at the back panel here, I'll bring up a photograph of this. You'll see that it's made in South Korea, which is where Maxon was located. So yeah, Maxon, that's who made this radio for Tandy, not ICOM. Can we put that rumor to bed finally, huh? All right, I got a little solder on my soldering iron. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to heat the tab. It's glued down. Okay, there we go. It already had some double-sided tape on it. Okay, let's do this again. There we go. There's the old battery. Shall we, just for grins and giggles? I think I can get on that positive wire. Let's see what we got. Heh. 2 1/100ths of a volt. Yeah. The old battery. Bye-bye. Okay, now this is not going to be fun. I have a piece of heat shrink tubing I've already cut. I'm going to slide that in on the wire on the new battery. And I need to make this connection, so I'm not going to try to film this because I need to concentrate on what I'm doing here. So I'll be back. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I really had to focus on what I was doing, but you can see I've soldered that and I've got heat shrink tubing on it there to protect it, keep it from shorting. Now the battery is going to get re-glued on here, and I'm going to set this wire up. And I need to tin it too. All right. There we go. So I'm going to line this up so that that wire, when I stick it down, there we go, is going to be right on that solder blob, like so. So I'll just peel this double-sided sticky tape, line it up, Stick it down. Okay, the wire's right on the solder blob. Now all I got to do is just bring in some more solder, huh? Done. Okay. Our new battery is in place. And you know what? Just for the heck of it, because I like to be a little extra cautious sometimes, I am going to take some black vinyl tape. There we go. Now we should be fine. All I need to do is just reassemble the radio. So, being really careful with this ribbon cable here. Let's do that. Now, remember, this battery tab has to tuck through that hole, and then we can angle this in like so. There. Oops. The battery tab goes in there. Okay, that's lined up. That's lined up. These corners here have a little gripper and a tab. You got to make sure that those are lined up in there, and we should be good. I can bring in the back, get it the right way. Yep, that rubber boot. There we go. There's a little O-ring right here. It goes around the inside edge, and you got to get that lined up right so it seals and it keeps moisture out. There we go. There we go. Okay, got it now. Got to hold it together while I put the screws in. All right, we got her all back together. Let's see if it's going to work now. I'll plug in my power jack. Now remember, to reset it, I got to hold down D and this button up here while I turn it on. Beeped twice. It says 146.000. So let's put in 6520, 146.52. We'll turn her off. And as before, we'll unplug the power for a little bit. Give it a few seconds, just like we did before. Plug the power back in, turn it on. 146.52. It remembered, no more error. Hey! How about that? So there we go. I've replaced the battery in my old HTX 202 brick. Should be good for another 30 years or so. If that battery lasts as long as the first one did, it'll outlast me. Anyway, hope you found that interesting, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, if you're not already a subscriber, click to subscribe. Join us on the Facebook channel for discussion about the videos. And if you'd like to help support this channel, please click to support me on my Patreon page.